Hello everyone, wasn't really planning on doing this. I have to get these thoughts out of my head because there's a lot. I'm kind of upset, kind of angry, and they can just develop a set of features and they can market them to executives, and that's going to be enough. I'm a user experience researcher, so I work with these things almost daily, and I have yet to meet this persona of this person. Why are people motivated to work in this way in the first place? I could understand it if they were targeting a different set of users, but I don't think that's it. I just think that they're being incompetent at their own job sometimes. Because it's like, if their goal is to sell more, they're not selling more, so they're literally failing. And it seems so obvious to me that you should be investing more in things that people care. So I was watching this demo. I don't want to badmouth this company because it's not a huge company. Let's keep them anonymous for now, but it was showing a new set of features, a few different things they hadn't just developed, capabilities they have been working on, you know the drill. Everything looked fine, like everything looked impressive on paper. Like the features were relatively good, the speaker was confident, the slides like made sense. Everything was kind of cohesive, but at the same time, something really felt off about the presentation. And in the beginning, I couldn't really put my finger on it, but the longer it went on, the more it became obvious to me. It's this weird feeling that the person speaking wasn't really talking to me. It's almost like they were talking to someone behind me. And this got me thinking, I don't think this is specific to this company. I think it's a much wider issue, which you might relate with, which is sometimes you really care about a product, and I felt this many times, especially recently, and then you really care about it, you really want it to succeed, but at the end of the day, you feel like the people who are building it just don't care enough about you. It's almost like a one-sided relationship. Now, while the product may still launch, it may even look successful. Like I said, this product does look successful at a first glance. It's disconnected. It doesn't matter. Like I don't care about it. I watched the demo and I feel nothing. I don't want to try the product anymore. I'm indifferent to it. Now, what baffles me about this is that these companies forget what their own purpose is. Every product that has ever succeeded has done one thing right, arguably. They helped people do more with less effort. Doesn't matter what industry we're talking about, even if it's entertainment, if we think about movies or video games, whatever, you still want people to do more. You want them to be more entertained with less effort. So I think it still applies. And that's it. I think that's the entire point of technology. Somewhere along the way, we started building things just for the sake of building things. And that's where I think we lost our way, or at least many companies have lost their way. If we're checking boxes, shipping features, chasing trends, we only care about what's going out the pipeline the next month because we want to get as many things out the door as possible so that we can sell as many things as possible, we're doomed, and that's not going to work. It's kind of positive in a way because I'm glad that doesn't work. It would really get me bothered if that was the way to actually be successful in life, is just to not care about anything and just keep building it and delivering whatever, and it's still going to work. I'm kind of glad that that doesn't work, but at the same time, it's kind of sad seeing it happening to the companies that I care about. And I just gave the example of the entertainment industry. You have in video games, for example, I really wanted the Pokemon game to be good. If we look at Disney and Marvel, like I really want the Marvel movies to be good. I want to care about it, but somewhere along the way, I stopped caring. And I feel it's because they stopped caring about me as well. And when I saw trailers, I just saw something that's, again, it felt like they built something that was not meant for me. It was meant for someone who's behind me. I was just watching it, feeling nothing. You have these big blockbusters that technically have everything. You have the big budgets, you have famous actors, emotional beats, you have these industry giants working with you and like huge special effects teams, and at the same time they just feel so hollow. I think the big companies especially, I think they're increasingly forgetting who they're building things for, or at least they don't care enough about the people who they're building for. Now, the example I'm thinking about is a B2B product, so it's business to business. They're selling what they're building to other businesses. So I think this trap is just easier for B2B to fall into because there's a tendency to think that you're selling to executives. You're not really selling to the person who will be using the product. People will be like forced to use it if the executive just buy it. And I would still argue that's a huge mistake. That logic is just short-sighted all around. I think for one, the executives aren't the ones who actually use the product every day. So if you're targeting the executives, the people who are actually using it will tell the executives that the product sucks, unless it's a one and done purchase, which it rarely is. And also the people who use the product are the ones who determine if it actually spreads, because most of the time, even if you're selling something to a business, then the person who is using that product they're going to talk to their friends, they're going to spread it online, they're going to leave reviews. It's probably still something that word of mouth has some sort of influence over. And in this specific case, for the demo that I was watching this morning, the one I said that got me started in this conversation in the first place, it's one of the biggest offenders, because one of the biggest things that this company had going for it is the community that they were able to build, and how much the community actually cared about what they were building, and the very tight connection that there was between the company who's building the products and the people who are using it. So it's really sad to watch that kind of fade away and for it to become like this corporate conversation. And in part, I think it's caused by how much that company has grown. I think that the bigger a company is, like, the easier it is to kind of just think about how many sales I want to have and forget about your users in the first place. That becomes very detrimental to your success in whatever industry you are in. And the way I see it, it's the same trap. It's the same trap that happens to little technology companies that suddenly get a little bit bigger, and happens to movie studios, and it happens to the video game industry. If you look at EA, for example, or if you look at the Pokemon company especially, you have the biggest franchise literally in human history, amounting like absurd amounts of money, and you have very bare bones video games. This is the minimum that you have to deliver so that someone buys what you're doing, and you have like this little return on investment. It's very short-sighted. You have massive projects that cost like millions, sometimes billions, and then they just fail to connect at the most basic level. And at the same time, and I think this is the light at the end of the tunnel here, you have these really small, like these focused ones from people who actually care about the audience and who are sort of kind of building things for themselves as well, because they saw a gap in the market that they want to fulfill because they are the users in some way. Those are the ones that actually succeed. And using the example from the video game industry again, if you look at the Game of the Year awards this year, if you look at all the contenders for what's the best game this year, all of them are from indie studios that are just very small developer teams, from people who are very passionate about a very small project, and they put a lot of love and a lot of care into it, and people actually connect to the idea. And I'm really glad that we do. You have Silksong, you have Expedition 33, you have Baldur's Gate last year, you have Hades, you have so many games that are like very focused but very passionate. And this is what makes me truly happy. And at the flip side, you have something that makes me really sad and really angry, which are these really big companies who think that they can just develop a set of features and they can market them to executives, and that's going to be enough. And in my opinion, that's not only wrong, that's also insulting to the intelligence, be it executives or final users, doesn't matter. Maybe I'm wrong on this, maybe there really is like this executive persona somewhere, but I'm increasingly more skeptical as I've been in the user experience research field now for a while, and I've been talking to actual executives, and I have yet to meet this persona of this person who is like in their little throne with their suit and tie and like their suitcase full of $10 million just waiting for the moment where someone is going to bring like a slide full of KPIs for me to put my money into, you know? Most executives that I've talked to and that I've seen out there are just people who have like their own teams. They really care about the industry that they're in, or at least like they know quite a bit about the industry that they're in. They want to buy things that allow their teams to be as effective as possible. So if you show them a product and it really clearly is disconnected from what their team actually needs in order to succeed, and trust me, executives know what their teams need in order to succeed, and that's a good user experience, that's going to fail. That doesn't work. I don't think it works. Like, I really don't. I'm really angry. I really do think they just look at your demo. Like, I was looking at it today. Like, I was looking at the demo, asking myself, like, would I enjoy using this? Would I get value out of using this? And the answer to both those things were no. And if I had my own team, and especially if I had my own company and I had my own like livelihood in the table to decide if I was going to buy this thing that was in front of me, just by seeing that the company is not aligned with the idea that our goal together as I buy your product is for us to collaborate and build something that allows me to get as much value as possible, as time goes on. Like, we should be aligned on this. Like, as I buy a product from you, the goal from there on out, especially if I'm paying a monthly fee for it, is that we will both be committed to the goal that I want to get as much value as possible and you want me to get as much value as possible. And that's how you get paid. That's how the deal should be. Like, that's the ideal way to be working. But for some reason, I'm not seeing this at all, and it gets me really upset. Like I said, sometimes it feels borderline insulting. I felt kind of insulted when I see like these numbers and these buzzwords and these success stories, like arbitrary success stories with companies I don't connect with. It feels like you're telling me you don't care about me, which makes me not care about you. It shows lack of empathy, and it honestly just tells me that you don't understand me and you're not even trying to. Honestly, that's what drives me crazy. This isn't just a user experience issue, but user experience is at the core of it. I've been talking about this, but at its core, I think it's a strategy issue as well. I think that companies are optimizing for the sale, not for the experience, and the experience is what drives the sale. They're chasing this short-term validation, which is arbitrary, like unfounded and ultimately unsuccessful, over the long-term trust that actually gets results. And it's frustrating because they're failing at their own goal. I shouldn't care. Maybe I shouldn't care. Maybe I should just be indifferent to it. But it becomes a little bit frustrating when it's something I want to succeed. Like I said, I want the Pokemon game to be good. I want the Marvel movie to be decent, at least. I want the product I just watched the demo for to be a good product that I actually use. And if I ever have my own team, I want to use that product to get my team to do something incredible with it. But I just don't see it because I don't see the commitment, I don't see the tone, and I'm just frustrated. And here's the kicker for me: even if these people, all they care about is money, right? And that's fine because it's a business at the end of the day. You want to make money, I get it. Like, we all want to make money, that's the goal. Let me tell you a secret, okay? This isn't the way to make more of it. If they actually studied what drives revenue and adoption, they'll find that the answer is always the same. And it's building products that people love, products that feel human, products that make people's life easier. And those are the ones that weigh, not the ones that are optimized like to target some executive at this meeting and it's all really serious, and if we're not serious, we're not going to blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what the solution is. I also don't like making negative videos, so I'm going to try to end this positively, but I wish I did. I wish I had a solution, but I've been feeling this more and more lately, and it's kind of frustrating having this sense that products are losing their soul over and over. Most things are getting bigger, they're getting flashier, but they're also getting emptier. And I wonder if you felt this too. If you've seen a product like a movie or a game, if you've had contact with something else that technically it did everything right, but somehow feels like it misses the point completely, at least for you. Like, when you look at it, you no longer connect with it. It just doesn't make sense to you anymore. It's especially crazy when I feel like it doesn't really connect with anyone, but in this case, it definitely doesn't connect with me. Because I really do think that we're all starting to notice, even if we can't always explain it. I'm a user experience researcher, so I work with these things almost daily, and it's still incredibly difficult to put it into words. Why is it that I don't connect with these things, and what causes this disconnect? And especially, why are people motivated to work in this way in the first place? I could understand it if they were targeting a different set of users, but I don't think that's it. I just think that they're being incompetent at their own job sometimes. Because it's like, if their goal is to sell more, they're not selling more, so they're literally failing. And it seems so obvious to me that you should be investing more in things that people care. But maybe it's just difficult to do that and find actually passionate people. But if we go back to the example for Pokemon, like, do you really think it's that difficult to hire people who care about Pokemon? Like, you literally have infinite money and the entire planet having that as like their childhood memories. Like, it's not difficult to find passionate people to make a Pokemon game. It's insane to me. But again, maybe we can't really explain it, but I really wish that we could. And if you have any thoughts about that at all, I would love to hear that, because I've been thinking about this all morning and I don't really have answers. But maybe, just maybe, just putting that into words and starting to understand what is it that we're feeling, the disconnect, is the first step towards bringing a little bit of soul back into what we built.